Good morning. Do you want to learn how to make a small stiff starter in 11 days and turn it into something like this on day 13, ready to bake with? Well, if you do, come along. I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's get into it. Pretty basic. You're going to need 2 glass jars. All right. You're going to need some spring water. Do not use tap water. Do not use distilled water. Do not use purified water. Just go get you a case of spring water, okay? And leave it on your counter because you're going to want to use room temperature water making your starter, okay? So just go get you a case of spring water, all right? Very important right here. I want you to go get a bag of unbleached bread flour, and I want you to go get a bag of dark rye flour, equal parts, okay? Because you're going to mix these two together, equal parts, and this is going to be your starter flour, okay? You're going to need something to mix your starter up with and your jars as you go. And last but not least, you're going to need something to measure with. You can either do a scale, or for those of you at home that don't have a scale, I'm going to show you how to use a tablespoon and a teaspoon, and it's going to be close enough for you to be able to create your starter, okay? With that being said, let's get into it. Day one. Day one, let's get our clean jar, okay? We got our clean jar. We're going to take our spring water. I'm going to turn my scale on, okay? All right, got this. Get your scale zeroed out. Now you're going to want to add 20 grams of your spring water at room temperature. Let's go. Okay, for reference of you that are following this with a teaspoon and a tablespoon, just mark this down, okay? So 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of water, and a teaspoon. Get you right at 19, okay? So for the water, it's 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon, okay? Now that we got our water, let's go ahead and add our flour, okay? Okay? We're going to take 1 tablespoon of dark rye flour. You see how I didn't level it off? Is because it's going to end up being 20 grams on the scale if it's a little bit over, okay? So 1 tablespoon of dark rye. Okay, 10, see? And now 1 tablespoon of unbleached bread flour. 20 right there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give this a mix. It's not going to be much. Just like so. Scrape your jar out. Okay. Get all those little bits off. Okay. And just squish it down in your jar best you can. Okay, and that's it. Go ahead and put the lid on it, set it on your counter, and leave it alone for 24 hours, all right? This is it. You don't have to mark your line, anything like that, because you're not going to see any movement tomorrow, okay? This is just day one. All right, with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow on day 2. All right, good morning. It's day 2. This is what our starter is looking like. You're not going to see much movement. This is just flour and water right now, okay? All right, let's begin. Day 2, clean jar. You're going to be adding 20 grams of day 1 starter, okay? And just keep in mind, we got our spring water, and this is our premix flour I told you yesterday about. Just go put it in a container equal parts and keep that. It just makes it easy for you. With that being said, back to what we were doing. Okay, day 2, let's take 20 grams out of this and put it in our clean jar, okay? Okay, 20. Let's see if we can get this 20 grams with this tablespoon. Yep, 20 grams, okay? Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside, and don't forget, go ahead and throw this away. You're not gonna keep that, okay? All right, let's clean our tablespoon off. Okay, clear our scale out. Now we're going to see how many tablespoons and teaspoons it takes to get to 20 grams, okay? All right, wiping my hand. All right, so our spring water, let's add 20 grams, okay? 1 tablespoon. Okay. Okay. Okay, 20 grams. So 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon is 20 grams of your spring water, okay? Let's lift this up and give it a mix, okay? Just keep mixing this until it gets a little milky, all right? Keep going. It's going to take a little bit because it's cold water, okay? Well, I guess not cold. It's room temperature, but it's not warm water. It's just room temperature. Okay, should be looking something like that. Get it mixed in pretty good, okay? Okay, like so. All right, we're going to turn our scale back on. We're going to tear it out. And we are going to put 20 grams of our pre-mixed flour in, okay? All right, 20 grams. Here's a tablespoon. Don't have to level it off. Kind of make sure it kind of looks like that. Okay. Okay, we're coming in at 10. Just like so. Doesn't have to be a lot. Okay, 20. So 2 tablespoons, okay? All right. Let's go ahead and give this a mix. Kind of just mix it up the best you can, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Get as much as you can off, okay? Get in there, clean our jar up the best we can. Okay, kind of looking like that, all right? Let's go ahead and clean our jar off. Okay, best we can. We're going to get our loose lid and we're going to set this right here on our counter for 24 hours, all right? Do not put it in the microwave. Do not put it in the oven. It will be fine sitting on your kitchen counter for 24 hours. All right, so I will be back tomorrow on day 3 and we'll see how our starter is looking. You might get some movement. You can go ahead and mark your jar and write the day on it if you like. Obviously I've done this before, so I kind of know how this is going to react. Just kind of mark your line and, you know, day 2 on it, and then we'll be back tomorrow to check it out. All right, I'll see you tomorrow on day 3. Okay, good morning. This is day 3. That's what it's looking like. We can tell this rose a little bit. This is a good thing. So what I want you to do is mark down on a little piece of paper day 3 rose, okay? Because it's going to be important on your starter journey, okay? All right, with that being said, let's get a clean jar. Okay, we got a clean jar. We're going to go ahead and take day 2's, a little bit from day 2, and we're going to add 20 grams of yesterday's starter in our clean jar, okay? Okay, go ahead and take this off. It's still going to be super thick. All right, 1 tablespoon, 20 grams. All right, let's move on. Let's go ahead and add 20 grams of our spring water, okay? Okay. All right, it's 1 tablespoon, okay? 1 teaspoon, all right, 20 grams. Remember, a tablespoon and a teaspoon are 20 grams of your spring water, okay? All right, let's take this off the scale and give it a mix. All right, should be looking like that, nice and milky. Now let's go ahead and add our flour, okay? You don't want to completely top it off, okay? Especially if you're using a teaspoon, okay? So we got 1. Okay. Kind of like that. All right, 20 grams. Let's go ahead and take it off the scale and give it a mix, okay? Okay, this is what she's looking like. Go ahead and mark your line, mark your day, okay? Put your loose lid on it, set it aside on your counter. And I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Make sure it sits on your counter, room temperature for 24 hours. See you tomorrow morning for day 4. All right, good morning. It's the morning of day 4. Let's go ahead and check out our starter. Looking good. Looks like she rose. That's a good thing. Go ahead and mark that down on your paper, rose on day 4. Okay, that's going to be important. All right, let's go ahead and get a clean jar, and we're going to, once again, add 20 grams of yesterday's starter, okay? Let's get into it. Okay, let's get our teaspoon. Okay, put that in there. All right, Set that aside. Make sure that you're throwing your day before starter away. You can't keep it, okay? So go ahead and just make sure you discard that later, okay? All right, now we're going to be adding 20 more grams of our spring water. 1, okay, 1 tablespoon. Okay, 20 grams. 1 teaspoon. Set that aside. Let's give this a good mix, okay? Just keep mixing this up. You don't have to go very hard. You don't want to lose any water. Just keep mixing this up till it looks pretty milky, okay? Okay, got it mixed up. Let's get our flour. I'm going to be adding 20 grams. You don't have to completely level it out because I told you it's not going to be exact like the scale, but close enough. We got 1. Okay. 2. All right, 20 grams. Let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, we got it all mixed up. Don't forget to put your loose lid on it and just go ahead and set it on your counter for another 24 hours. All right, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for day 5. All right, good morning. Another day closer. This is day 5. I could tell she rose. This is a really good sign. All right, let's just go ahead and repeat those steps, okay? Clean jar. Make sure you write down on your paper, day 5, rose, okay? This is going to be very important for us, okay? Rose, day 5. Now, don't get discouraged if your starter is not rising like mine. Could be several different things, but if you are using the room temperature spring water, the flour I told you to use, using a clean jar, the proper measurements, you should be seeing some growth by now in your starter. If not, it's okay. It might be the humidity in your house, etc. But let's move on. Okay, day 5. We're going to repeat the steps. Let's take 20 grams of the day before starter and put it in the clean jar. Okay, put it in there. Okay, all right, looks good. Set that aside. Don't forget to throw that away after this. It's no good. All right, let's go ahead and add 20 grams of our spring water, okay? 1 tablespoon. 1 teaspoon. Perfect. Okay. Got our water. Obviously, we're going to take it off the scale and give it a mix, okay? Okay, should be looking like that. Let's go ahead and get our pre-mixed flour. Okay, remember you don't want to completely top it off, okay? Because if you're not using the scale, it's not going to be exact, so just go a little over, okay? Whoopsie. That's okay if that does that. Whoops. I'll just put a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now let's do 2. Okay, 20 grams. Close that back up. Let's take this off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, should be looking something like that. Go ahead and place this on your counter. Place a loose lid just like that. Set it on your counter and forget about it for another 24 hours. We're getting one step closer. See you tomorrow on day 6. All right, good morning. It's day 6. Let's take a look. We could tell she's risen again. That's a really good sign. All right, let's write down day 6, risen. Okay, now we're just going to take a little smell on day 6, okay? It should not have been really smelling like anything until maybe day 5. Let's take a little smell test, okay? Not too bad, a hint of tang, but not bad. Your flour should never completely stink up your whole house. That jar you're making, it should never completely stink. It should smell like it is right now, just a hint of tang. That's a good thing. I forgot to tell you yesterday, well, when I was filming day 4 and 5, I was smelling it. It was just a hint of tang, but it wasn't bad. We got a slight hint of tang today. Okay, not bad. Once again, let's get our clean jar. All right, we're going to take 20 grams out of yesterday's starter and add it in our clean jar, okay? Let's go. Okay. Let's get our 20 grams. Go ahead and scoop it out. All right, 20 grams. Let's go ahead and set that aside. Don't forget, go ahead and throw that away. It's not going to be any good. All right. Let's clean this, our little tablespoon off. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and add our water, okay? All right. We got one tablespoon. One teaspoon, 20 grams of our spring water. Okay, let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, should be looking something like this. Once again, let's add our pre-mixed flour. Stir our tablespoon off. Okay, because you don't ever want to put your tablespoon or anything you're using in your, your flour. You don't want to contaminate it. So, like I said, don't completely top it off. We got one. Okay. About that. See if we can get 20 grams. All right, 20 grams, we got it. Okay, let's go ahead and take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, should be looking like this. Make sure you clean your jar off. Keep your jar clean, okay? All right, once again, we're just gonna put our loose lid on it and we're going to set it on our counter for another 24 hours. And I will see you tomorrow morning on day 7. Day 7 is going to be a big day for us, so I'll see you tomorrow. All right, everybody. One step closer. Today is day 7, and this is going to be a pretty big day for you, okay? All right, so it's going to determine a little bit of factors how I'm going to have you switch up your feeding or not. Let's take a smell, okay? First things first, did it rise? Yeah, looks like it's rising really good. Okay, let's mark that down. It rose, okay? Now I want you to take a smell. Does it still smell slightly tangy? Which this does. It's just barely a hint of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed this one more day at that same ratio, okay? So let's get our clean jar, okay? Let's set that on our scale. We're going to get our tablespoon. We're going to take 20 grams of yesterday's starter out. Okay. Okay. Just gonna put that in the jar. Okay. 20 grams. Okay. Now we're gonna add 20 more grams of our spring water. Okay. Room temperature. One. Okay. 1 tablespoon. 1 teaspoon. Okay. 20 grams. All right. Let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, should be looking something like this. Let's get our flour, dry our little tablespoon off. Okay, let's get 2 scoops. Okay, we got 1. Okay, get another one. 2. Okay, 20 grams. Let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay. Okay, should be looking something like this. Clean your jar up, slap your loose lid on it, go ahead and set it on your counter, and we're going to come back on day 8. Day 8 is going to be a big day for us. If our starter starts to smell kind of like sweet flour, which more than likely it will be, and if it has risen tomorrow morning on day 8, we're going to switch up the feeding. All right, I'll see you on day 8. All right, a very good morning to you. This is going to be a big morning for you because if this passes the test, we're going to go officially switch up our feeding ratios, okay? So did it rise? Yep. It rose again. Let's take a smell. Smells like flour with a hint of sweet. That is really good. That means that tang, that bag bacteria, your starter has officially killed it off, and it is turning itself into lactic acid and yeast. Very exciting. Okay, since we've passed the tests, we're going to go ahead and switch up the feeding today. Okay, if you are at this stage and your starter, considering maybe where your humidity is, your how warm your house is, still hasn't, it's only starting now to rise, just keep feeding it for a couple more days. It will come around. So the way you can determine today is has to have risen for at least the past 3 days, okay? 3 to 4 days for us to be able to switch up the feeding so it's strong enough to handle that. With that being said, ours passed today on day 8, so let's go ahead with a clean jar. We're going to take 3 grams out of this, okay? Only 3. And I pre-measured it out for you for those of you that don't have a scale, okay? It's a half a teaspoon, okay? So let's just take a half a teaspoon. Yesterday's starter, kind of something like that. Scoop it in there. Okay, 3 grams. This is what 3 grams looks like. Okay, that's it. It's not very much. Okay, now we're going to be adding 30 grams of our room temperature spring water, okay? And I already pre-measured that out for you, and that is going to be 2 tablespoons, okay? Okay, so we got 1. 2. Okay, let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, should be looking nice and milky. Let's go ahead and add 30 grams of our pre-mixed flour, okay? All right, and I already pre-measured that out, so it's 3 tablespoons, okay? You kind of want to even this one off. Don't squish it down, kind of like that. So 1, just like that. 2, 3, kind of just like that. You're either going to end up with 29 or 30 or 31. It's going to be close enough for you to be able to stick with your little teaspoons and tablespoons, hopefully until you can get a scale, okay? All right, let's go ahead and take this off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, and this is what it should be looking like, okay? It's going to be nice and stiff. See that? See how all the flour's mixed up in it? Nice and stiff. Go ahead and put your lid on it. Set it on your counter for 24 hours, and I'll be back on day 9. See you tomorrow. All right, good morning. It's day 9. This is going to be another big day for you to see if your starter was strong enough to handle that 1 to 10 to 10 feeding. So let's take a look. That's what it's looking like. It's risen and it's fallen. That's a good thing. Okay, so it passed the test. Let's go ahead and give it another feeding today, okay? All right, like always, a clean jar. We're going to start out with a half a teaspoon, okay? We're going to go ahead and put that in the jar. Okay, that's what it's looking like. It's not going to look like much. Okay, let's go ahead and get our spring water. Okay, we're going to add 2 tablespoons. Don't forget that was a half a teaspoon for the starter, okay? Okay, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Okay, make sure you dry your tablespoon off so we're not getting our flour wet in our nice container, okay? Okay, set our tablespoon aside. Let's go ahead and take this off the scale a little bit. Let's just mix this up. Keep mixing it until it turns milky, okay? Okay, see what I mean by milky? All right, let's add our flour. Okay, let's get in our jar. Now remember to, level your flour off just a pinch. We got 1, 2, 1 more. Level it off. 3. Let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Okay? Okay, this is what day 9's looking like. Okay, we're going to put the lid on it and set that aside. Day 9, it rose. We fed it to 1 to 10 to 10 feeding. Okay? All right, and you're just going to set that aside on your countertop, and we'll be back tomorrow on day 10. See you then. And I suppose before I end day 10, you guys, if you are coming along on your starter journey and it's not looking quite like this, it's only rising a little bit, that means the 1 to 10 to 10 feeding we did yesterday was too strong for it. So go down to a 1 to 5 to 5, meaning 3 grams of the day before starter, 15 grams of your spring water, and 15 grams of your pre-mixed flour, and start feeding that for the next 2 to 3 days, and it'll build up. It will. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow on day 10, okay? Good morning. It's day 10. Let's take a look at our starter. Looking good. Let's take a smell. Smelling very nice. Smelling sweet. Looking good. All right, it's passed. Let's go ahead and do another 1 to 10 to 10 feeding, okay? All right, you're going to get your half a teaspoon. The day before starter, okay? All right, just going to put that in there. Okay, it's not going to be much. Okay, got that. Set that aside. Let's go ahead and add our spring water, okay? All right, okay. 2 big helps of spring water, or 2 tablespoons. Okay, set that aside. Let's take that off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, that's what it's looking like. Let's add our flour, okay? Make sure your tablespoon's dry, okay? So, you know, you're not getting any wet spots in that flour, okay? We don't want to create moisture, which causes mold, okay? All right, tap it off. We got 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's take that off the scale and give it a mix, okay? Okay, looking good. Small stiff starter, everything's incorporated. Let's put the lid on it, set it on the counter for another 24 hours, and I'll see you tomorrow on day 11. Now, yesterday, if you were one of those that couldn't do a 1 to 10 to 10 or day 9 and you had to go to a 1 to 5 to 5, if you woke up this morning and it's looking like that, you can go ahead and up to the 1 to 10 to 10 feeding. Remember, it's just 3 grams of the day before starter, 30 grams of your spring water, and 30 grams of your premixed flour, okay? And please do not forget, I do not want you to keep the day before starter for at least 21 days, okay? For you to be able to dehydrate it, because I want it to be as strong as possible for you when you go to dehydrate your starter, okay? With that being said, I will see you tomorrow on day 11, and I am very proud of you. See you tomorrow on day 11. Good morning. It's one step closer to bake day. It's day 11, like always, with a clean jar. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starter. We can tell it's rose again. Let's take a smell. Smelling very nice. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and repeat those steps. Let's take a half a teaspoon or 3 grams out of a day 10 starter, shall we? Okay, and at this point your starter should be getting a little thinner when you go to put it in your jar. Okay. Okay, 3 grams. Okay, let's set that aside. What I mean by thinner is it'll start moving. It'll be a little bit less thick than when we very first started making it, okay? All right, now that we got that, like always, let's get our room temperature spring water, and we're going to be putting in 2 tablespoons. 1, 2, okay. Let's take this off the scale and give it a mix. Okay, that's what I mean by thinner. It's gonna just really easily dissolve, okay, versus like when you first started, it was like chunky, okay? So like always, let's dry our tablespoon off, okay? Let's add 3 tablespoons, kind of top it off. 1, 2, 3, just like so. All right, let's take it off the scale and give it a mix. Mix it in real good. Give it a good mix. Just always, like, you just want to scrape the sides, okay, of your jar. Scrape the sides, get that all off, put that back on there. Okay. Now your jar is going to make a mess when it rises and falls. It's going to have different patterns and all that good stuff, okay? It's not, whoops, sorry, I almost flushed it. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to look like that. tip it upside down, nice and thick. You see how there's no flour, everything's incorporated evenly, okay? All right, let's clean off the top of our jar. Let's get a nice clean lid, okay? All right, nice clean lid. We're gonna place this lid, a loose lid, on there, and we're going to set it on the counter. And we will be back tomorrow for day 12. Day 12 is gonna be a big day for us, so see you tomorrow. And one more thing, if you're at the stage today, and you were feeding it that 1:5 ratio, and it finally did like this, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Go ahead and feed this your yesterday starter 1 to 10 to 10. It's ready to be strengthened that much. And have no fear if you are still on the stage on day 11 where your starter is just not rising, it's not doing anything, you're going, what's going on? I want you to keep a few things in mind, okay? Did you buy the spring water? Did you buy spring water and keep it on the counter room temperature, okay? Did you buy the pre-mixed flour, the half unbleached bread flour, half dark rye flour, okay? Did you get the proper tools to measure with? You know, those are all coming into play. Did you not get a jar with a loose lid? Or you putting something really tight, like a tight lid, or even, believe it or not, paper towels or cloth will affect that as well too. Are you using a clean jar? All those come into play. But at this stage, you guys, on day 11, if you were following exactly what I did, you should be on your way to baking on day 12. With that being said, I will see you tomorrow on day 12. All right, congratulations. It's day 12. It's the evening before you get to bake on day 13. I'm very proud of you. This is exactly what your starter should be looking like. Okay, let's take a look on the inside. See that? This is exactly what your starter should be looking like, okay? With that being said, let's go ahead and give it that same feeding, okay? 3 grams of yesterday's starter, day 11 starter, we're on day 12. All right. Let's go ahead, get our little half a teaspoon, okay? Get a little half a teaspoon in there. Okay, it's not going to be much. It never looks like much, okay? We got our half a teaspoon. All right. Once again, do not keep yesterday's starter. Just go ahead and throw it away. Now let's add our spring water. 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. Okay. All right, let's take it off the scale and mix it up. All right. This is what it's looking like. Let's go ahead and get into our pre-mixed flour. Make sure your tablespoon is completely dried out. We don't want any moisture in your container, okay? All right, nice dry tablespoon. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3. Let's mix it up. Okay, like always, let's place this lid on this and let's go ahead and sit this on the counter. Okay, so I'm going to follow up on this video with the evening of day 12 for you. In the evening time, after this has peaked in about 12 to 14 hours, we're going to follow up with that, and I'm going to show you how to take this into a bigger jar and have enough to bake with tomorrow morning on day 13. And then I will go ahead and post another video the morning of day 13, because I want you to the only difference in the feeding that I want you to do is I want you to make sure from now on you still have spring water, but keep it in the fridge. I want you to make sure that your water is going to be cold from here on out when you feed your starter. There's several reasons. I don't want you to create mold. Okay, I don't want your starter to mold, and I want your starter to be able to take as long as possible to peak in 14 hours, then drop all the way down. That way you only have to feed it once a day, okay? So that's going to be the only difference. Like I said, after that video, or after this one, you'll see the video of tonight, me feeding, taking a little bit out, prepping this for you, and then I'll clip over to tomorrow morning, and I will show you how to forever and always feed your small stiff starter. With that being said, congratulations, you have officially done it. You created yourself a forever strong stiff starter to bake with. With that being said, I will officially see you this evening. All right, the time has come. You get to bake first thing in the morning. So come along with me on your 12-day-old starter. This is the evening of your 12-day-old starter, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and prep for tomorrow morning to bake with, okay? So first things first, we fed this a 1 to 10 to 10 feeding early this morning. It's past the pretty much the 12-hour mark. I just want you to show you something. You see how that's right up there? It's coming down to about right there. It's starting to fall, okay? This is what I mean by make sure it starts to fall a little bit before you take a certain percentage out of this to bake with in the morning. So I hope you can kind of see that and kind of reference that. It went up here and now it's kind of like down to there, so it's ready to go. Okay, first things first, tomorrow morning we are going to be baking your first loaf of sourdough bread, okay? And we need 150 grams of active peak starter. All right, so let's go. Let's get into it with the clean jar, okay? I already did the mathematics out for you. I will go ahead and post another video after this, and you can go look at the mathematics and all that fun stuff, how I figure that out. But in the meantime, I want you to be able to bake first thing in the morning, so let's go ahead and go. Let's get this to where we have well over 150 grams. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. So my math is telling me, my mathematical equation is telling me I need 9 grams out of this starter. Okay, so let's go. Let's tear our scale out. Okay, let's go ahead and take 9 grams out of your 12-day-old starter. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. Doesn't take much. Okay, we're up to 5. Let's keep going. Okay, 9, right on the money. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and scoop that back in there. Just put the rest back that's on your little ladle the best you can. Okay, okay. We're gonna set our spoon aside. We're gonna clean up our jar, obviously. Clean your jar up, make sure it's nice and clean. We're gonna put the lid back on this, okay? You're not gonna have to worry about this. You won't have to feed this till tomorrow morning, okay? All right. Now we're gonna tear our scale out, okay? All right, now we're going to add 90 grams of cold filtered water, okay? Let's go. Okay, 90 grams. Okay, now what you're gonna wanna do is you're just gonna wanna take it off the scale like this and give it a good mix, okay? Just be slow. This is cold filtered water, okay? Just give it a good mix. Now keep in mind we are feeding this a 1 to 10 to 10 ratio, so this is going to take about 12 to 14 hours to peak for us in the morning. All right, let's keep going with that. Good job. You got this. Give it a good mix. All right. See that? How it's kind of like that. All right, good job. Go ahead and tear your scale out. Now we're going to be adding 90 grams of our starter flour. Let's go. Okay, we got 90 grams. Let's take this off the scale, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're just going to give this a good mix. Just like so. Mix it up real good. Now because this is a 1 to 10 to 10 feeding, is going to tell you a couple things. It's going to be super thick once we mix this all up, and it is also going to take, like I said, 12 to 14 hours to peak, and the best of all is it's going to be super strong when we go to use it because we fed it such a high ratio, okay? So what I like to do is just clean my little jar up best I can. Get that any little last bits hanging off the top. I like a clean jar, okay? Doesn't have to be exact, okay? All right, see, like that. Don't worry about that. It's okay. You're gonna have plenty. Okay? Okay, that's pretty much it. Now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna put your lid on it. You don't have to mark your line because it's gonna rise. It's gonna do its thing. So now what you do is you just, like I said, don't worry about this. We'll deal with this first thing in the morning. We're gonna set this kind of in the same spot because we're gonna bake with this tomorrow morning. In the meantime, get you some good rest. Tomorrow's a big day for you. It is bake day. And I will officially see you in the morning to help you jumpstart your success for your own sourdough journey. With that being said, may the odds forever be in your favor on your sourdough journey, and keep blazing your trail. Good morning. Happy 13th day. I hope you got some sleep from that video last night, because we're getting ready to bake your first loaf of bread. But before we get into that, let's just go ahead and do our morning feed. Just remember, when you're getting ready to bake, always try to feed your starter at the same time, okay, that you do. That being said, this is our starter from last night. Okay, let's go ahead and take that out, and we're going to be adding 3 grams of yesterday's starter, okay? Okay, 3 grams. Let's put that in there. Okay. All right, good enough. Let's set that aside. All right, let's go ahead and add our cold. And now this morning, remember I told you, I think on day 12, we're going to start using cold spring water. So those bottles of spring water that you get, if you don't have a Brita filter, of course, go ahead and get you some spring water, some bottles, and just put it in the fridge, because from here on out, forever and always, you are going to be putting cold water into your starter, okay? All right, 2 tablespoons of cold water right out of the fridge. Okay, let's set that aside. Let's dry our tablespoon off. Okay. All right, we got that dried off. Let's go ahead and take this off the scale and give it a mix. Now with cold water, you see how I'm mixing that, and it's getting a little bit harder to mix. It'll just be a little bit more chunkier, but that's okay. Get that a good mix. Like so. Okay, our tablespoon is dry. We don't want any moisture in our flour container. Okay. Top it off. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's it. Let's give it a mix. See how I'm doing that? Just get all the flour mixed up in it. Scrape your jar. Keep flipping it around. That's how I kind of like to do it. And then I just go back one more time. Get all the egg. I like a clean jar. You should try to always keep a clean jar as well. It's nice. Okay, and it saves you from getting crusted on the outside and it turning into concrete. Okay, let's wipe our jar down. Wipe our little bit of our hands. Like always, let's get our clean lid. Let's go ahead and set that on the side. And we're going to go ahead and clean off our entire counter, and we are going to get ready to bake. Okay, you fed your starter. This is what your one from the night before is looking like. It is almost ready. It's creeping up. Oh, you see it bubbling? It's creeping up on the 14-hour mark. It's just about peaked. We're going to go ahead and, you're going to go ahead and bake your first loaf of bread. Okay, always get that out of the way. Feed your starter first. I just want you to take a moment and pat yourself on the back. You should be very proud of yourself if you followed all my instructions and you are now officially here on day 13. Most people can't even make a starter in 10 days, let alone bake with it on day 13. So we're going to go ahead and bake with your new starter and see how it turns out for the first time, okay? Don't ever give up on your sourdough journey, okay? It took me a long time to get where I was at, and you will too. What else? I don't want to ramble on this last part of the video because we want to go bake. If you liked any of the things I was using in the video, the flour, the unbleached flour, the dark rye flour, the little jars, the spatula, the scale, etc. I'll link you some Amazon links down below if you are interested in any of that stuff that I use. With that being said, may the odds forever be in your favor on your sourdough journey, and keep blazing your trail.